the use of the distributive property with decimals. This first one here looks a little bit different, primarily because this 3 is on the back side. But that doesn't matter. If you feel the need to want to move it to the front side over here, please feel free to, although it is not necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and make use. I'm going to bomb this out, and some of you are going, well, I can't do decimals. The nice part is when you take a whole number times a decimal, or for that matter, a whole decimal times a decimal, you treat them initially like they're whole numbers like we talked about yesterday. And if I take 3 times 4 instead of 3 times 0.4, I get 12. But I know that because there is this decimal point right here, I need to have 1 decimal point in my answer, which means my answer would be 1.2. Then I take 3 times 11, which is 33, and there's a C on the end because we have that C, but I need a decimal point in there because we had a decimal point in the 1.1, giving us 1 2/10 plus 3 3/10 C for my final answer. Looking at the next one now, we're going to, when we bomb this in, we're actually going to end up having a decimal times a decimal. So we'll deal with the non-1 first. And and going back to the 1 2/10 plus 3 3/10 C, we do actually want that in standard form, so we'll flip those around to 3 3/10 C plus 1 2/10. And that is the answer that we actually want. And we'll make a note that this is standard form. So now going back here, we have negative 1 2/10 times 3. Well, negative times a positive we know is a negative, so I'm going to put the negative out front. 12 times 3 is 36, so I know that with the 1 decimal place I will have 3 6/10. And then I have minus negative 1.2 times 0.6, so I know that with it being negative times a negative, I'm going to end up with a positive. And if I take 12 times 6, I know that's 72. And because I have 1 decimal place here and 1 decimal place here, I know I need 2 in my answer, which would be 0.72J. Now we need to put this into standard form, which would be 0.72J minus 3 6/10 because the 3 6/10 is negative.